Hey, church, I just wanted to take a few minutes to bring you up to speed with the latest in reopening the church for worship, in-person worship to be more specific. Of course, as many of you know, the state has begun to sort of reopen restaurants and other retail places and stuff like that. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're using as our metric for reopening the church here at Emmanuel. Of course, many of the businesses are opening with some capacity restrictions and things like that, and increased protective measures. Here's our struggle. There's a lot. Unfortunately, this has been very politicized. This whole thing has been politicized on both sides. This isn't a right or a left issue. Unfortunately, it's been made one, and we're trying to take that completely out of the equation. With sort of the simple philosophy, when you're sick, you don't go to Tallahassee or City Hall or Washington, D.C., you go to the doctor. You listen to medical experts, you listen to scientists. We're trying really hard to sort through all the information and listen to some scientific evidence, some scientific data, epidemiologists, vocalologists, yes, that's a thing apparently, and medical professionals as we look to guide our decisions here at the church. And when I say we, I mean both myself, Pastor Rebecca, and the rest of staff, and our executive committee and council leadership. So at this point, we have made the decision to remain with an online-only worship experience through June 15th. That is a flexible date. We're hoping that we can hit that mark. As I said, as we consider all of the information, we're looking to make sure that we can care for both yourself and your safety and the safety of our staff. Frankly, the cost of being wrong and returning to worship too soon is a risk that I'm not excited to take. Someone being sick, someone dying because we decided to open too soon is just a painful reality that I don't want to have to deal with. Currently, we're able to live stream worship, the full worship experience, with the exception of communion, and I'll talk about communion in a second. But the reality, when we reopen worship, it's going to look different, and that alone is going to be hard. It's not going to look like we're accustomed to. We're going to have to practice physical distancing. When we come in, we're going to have to try and keep that 6 feet of physical distance. When we sit in the pews, we're going to have to keep that 6 feet of physical distance. We'll have to block off pews and make sure that some pews you're not able to sit in. And sorry, that might be your pew that is blocked off that we aren't using for seating that Sunday. It's going to be hard. I love the handshakes and the fist bumps and the hugs. I love that social interaction. We're not going to be able to do that. It's just not going to be safe for us to do that in the near future. We're going to have to wear masks during worship. I get it, they're not comfortable. Nobody likes to wear a mask, but for the safety of everyone in the building, we'll have to wear masks. If you happen to not have one, we will have some provided for you that you can use. And even with all those precautions, when you listen to scientists, epidemiologists, and vocalologists, the recommendation is still to refrain from singing. This is such a huge part of our worship experience as Lutherans and as Christians in general. We love to sing. But science tells us that when we sing, we release aerosols, and the virus becomes part of those aerosols that float around in the air and circulate through the air in the building. You're probably a bit exasperated at this point. You're probably ready to throw up your hands. So are we. These last few months have been incredibly difficult. Seminary doesn't prepare you to pastor in the midst of a pandemic. Seminary doesn't prepare you to listen to epidemiologists and read articles by vocalologists. But seminary does prepare you for one thing: to love your people. That's at the core of what we do. At the core of what we do is loving you all and the community at large. I know it's hard. It's hard for you guys. It's hard for Pastor Rebecca and I. It's been extremely difficult conversations and decisions with church leadership and staff, your council, your executive team. We're all taking a deep breath. We're all praying relentlessly about what decisions to make. So we've decided to suspend in-person worship through at least June 15th. We'll continue to evaluate as time goes on. But starting next week, we will add drive-through communion to our worship experience. So during the worship service, Pastor Rebecca or myself will bless the elements here at the altar. Immediately following the worship service, we will be set up outside. When you come in, we will have all the elements ready. We'll have them on a tray. We'll put the tray to the car window. You'll be able to take the stuff off the tray. We'll, of course, be wearing masks and gloves. We'll re-sanitize the tray and cycle you through. We'll send more information about the specifics of drive-through communion this week. But that is something that we're adding to the worship experience because we know that that's another element that's missing. We've been missing it. You've been missing it. It's a core part of what we do. None of this is easy. It's not easy on anyone. But we ask for your prayers. We ask for your patience. And most of all, we ask for communication. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please don't hesitate to ask. In the meantime, stay safe.